Hi students, on the demand of everyone, we are going to solve Jamia PhD Entrance Exam 2023 English Literature. In this particular paper solution, my attempt is to make you understand how to answer the questions. There are some questions which are very easy, some questions are tricky, some questions will lead you for a confusion. The method of solving the paper is very important because sometimes when you go to exam and you are finding two options which are very close, how to select a proper answer. So through this video, I will try my best to give you an idea how to solve the paper. Along with that, as I already have posted a video of our students giving us an honest review of Jamia PhD entrance exam, India's टॉप यूनिवर्सिटी, टॉप 10 में आती है दोस्तों, टॉप 5 में आती है दोस्तों. People have dreams to go for Jamia PhD entrance. A lot of people who have qualified NET and JRF, they are still struggling to qualify these entrances. So I'll go for all those questions and I will be solving the questions which are tricky and tough, but all the easy questions I will give you the direct answer because those questions will be available for you all in online and offline classes. So let's go for it. Here we have the PhD Entrance Examination 2023 Department of English, Jamia Millia Islamia University, India's top university. So let's go for it. Attempt all 50 questions below, choosing the right option. Mark your options at this booklet. As I told you, I will not be spending a lot of time on the questions which are easy. When I teach you, I prepare you, I keep these exams in my mind. This is one of my daily breakfast to go for these entrance exams. So here we go for the first one. An epithalamion is. It's simple. The question is from Edmund Spencer. Edmund Spencer used to write epithalamion. If you are offline students, you know that we have talked about epithalamion, prothalamion. I told you that Edmund Spencer, John Donne, they used to write these kind of things. I also gave you the details that epithalamion is a wedding song written by the husband. It is not a song of separation, no. कोई विरह व्यथा नहीं है. A song of mourning, no. It's not an elegy, it's not a sad song. Not a song dealing with seasons. Epithalamion is a song written by a husband for his wife to welcome her. But when it is written by someone else and a husband purchases it to gift his wife, that is called prothalamion. So if you're an online student, check your lecture of Edmund Spencer, you will find it right there. So 2 number आपके आ गए दोस्तों. अब चलते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन पे. A term used by Mikhail Bakhtin, theory का question, to characterize writing that depicts the destabilization and reversal of power structures. How many of you have gone through the lecture of Carnivalesque when I taught you the mall culture theory? Remember when I was teaching you Carnivalesque, I talked about Bartholomew Fair, a reference taken from Ben Jonson, then I talked about mall culture and I told you that Carnivalesque actually studies the society from upside down, means from another side. So here we have a direct answer that destabilization and reversal of power structure, one of the most important characteristic of Carnivalesque. Discourse is a social setup. Rhizome simply deals with the gatherings around which create a meaning. Chronotype simply deals with the timings, how the time factor deals with the changes of meaning, how the time can change the meaning. Chronotype, these are the answers. The right answer is Carnivalesque. And once again, easy, very easy question. This is what I teach in Russian formalism. We go for dialogism, we teach monologism, and then there we go for Carnivalesque. Now, the next one we have is mark the odd one among the following. Odd one. Conceit, used in metaphysical poetries, a far-fetched imagery. Allusion, a state of confusion. Paradox, when two things are opposite. Ode. Which should be the different one? When I was solving this paper in front of my offline batch student, one of them answered something in a hurry. When you find these kind of questions, see, it looks a small question, it looks a simple question. Go for this. Try to find out the structure. Conceit, a far-fetched imagery, is a literary device. Allusion, creating confusion in a poetry, is the literary device. Paradox, putting two words which are opposite of each other, is a literary device. But that an ode ode is a complete form of poetry. Ode to evening, ode to nightingale. So this is the complete poetry structure. Others are devices which can be used in this. So technically the right answer is an ode. Till now we are answering all the questions, and an easy one. The Caretaker is a play written by. Luckily, if you remember my lectures on either absurd theatre or postmoderns, I usually tell my students that make sure you read Birthday Party by Harold Pinter, you read The Room by Harold Pinter, and you read The Caretaker. Mick Davis Aston. They bring a man home, the man who is taking shelter in the house. He fights with them, fights with the owner, and throws a shoe at him. That I must have made you write that. Check your notes. It's simple, direct answer, Harold Pinter. Now we go for the next question. दोस्तों यहाँ तक सारे क्वेश्चंस एज इट इज क्लास के हैं, बट बहुत टफ नहीं है, तो मुझे नहीं अपनी तारीफ चाहिए, ये हम पढ़ाते ही इतना अच्छा है. सी, जॉन मिल्टन सैमसन एगोनिस्ट क्या है? Approx 3,000 online students who are registered right now, you're watching it. Check your lecture of John Milton and check where I have talked about Samson agonist. I have given you the idea that Milton wrote a prologue, an introductory part, and Milton himself in the preface mentioned this, that my drama is a closet drama. It's not a sonnet, it's a big epic. Remember his wife, Samson agonist's wife Delia, based on Milton's third wife. It's in kind of epic. Yes, it's a kind of epic. But then Milton, he wrote it in a drama format. And he himself mentioned this thing in the preface that it's a closet drama. Now, my dear friends, what is a closet drama? A drama which is not meant to be performed on the stage. See, make notes. Sath notes banao. This is how you will be able to go for these things. Epistle is a letter addressed to someone. So obviously, it's a closet drama. Confirm answer. यहां तक आपके 10 नंबर श्योर हो गए हैं if you are our student preparing like us. Tomb of Sand. You know, when this Booker Award was given to the lady Gitanjali Sri, I actually delivered a lecture on this thing, and I talked about this, that she is the first Indian to win a Booker Award in Indian language. We have Kiran Desai, we have Arundhati Roy, we have Arvind Adiga. They have won Booker Award, but in what language? The language of colonizers, in English. Gitanjali Sri won the Booker Award in Hindi. And if they ask you a question in exam, they may ask you who has translated that. Here we have the question. Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Sri, also known as Raith Samadhi. Tomb of Sand is an English title. That has been translated by Daisy Rockwell. यहाँ पे कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. There is no logic. It's simple. You should know the book. You should know the translator. Write down. इसको अभी नोट करो. ये नेट में भी आ जाएगा. It can be repeated in net. Daisy Rockwell, Tomb of Sand. Note it down. Now, Claude Lévi-Strauss describes the following activity as bricolage. Here, most of the students get problems and troubles because they normally don't study this thing. But when we talked about structuralism, the myth criticism, Claude Lévi-Strauss का हमने reference लिया था. Claude Lévi-Strauss uses the term bricolage for myth making. He says the world is surrounded with multiple signs. Multiple signs and signifiers can be used to create more stories. So the idea of bricolage is directly myth making. This can be the right answer. ये आपका final answer होगा, perfect answer होगा. Please remember, bricolage by Claude Lévi-Strauss directly deals with myth making or deals with mythologies or meanings based on the signs available in a context. For more details, या इसका detailed lecture चाहिए, be the part of the classes, you will get these things. This will become a cakewalk for you. Question number 8. Not a tough question. If you have read T.S. Eliot, if you know about his career, if you know that T.S. Eliot was working for a magazine, Criterion, then you must be knowing these things, that the Criterion, then the Quest, he used to work for both of them. In fact, The Wasteland was published in the magazine Criterion. So he was the editor here first, later he became editor here also, but the direct answer should be Criterion. Then, a villanelle. See, villanelle is technically a Scottish poetry style, 19-line poem using tercet stanza. So technically this question is a kind of unique question because there are hundreds of writing styles, hundreds of patterns. They have used haiku, they have asked no drama. So these kind of questions can be asked. This time villanelle is a question which has been asked. The poem has 19 lines. Now, I did not teach this. We normally don't teach these kind of things because there are 100, 200 things and there is no guarantee whether they will ask or not. If I overburden my students with these kind of 200 details and also knowing that whether they will ask it or not, then technically that's not a proper preparation. The smart preparation says avoid these things, but as now I have solved it in front of you, simply make one line note, mug it up, and for this question we will not take any credit. मैंने ये नहीं पढ़ाया. Okay. The next question we are going is question number 10. Systematic functional grammar was introduced by. See, when I was teaching Noam Chomsky universal grammar, we talked about Michael Halliday. He is the one who studied children's grammar. He came with 7 different functional studies for children's grammar: idealist metafunctional study, textual metafunctional study, interpersonal metafunctional study. These are the theories coined by him. If you don't know, stay tuned. We will be giving you all these details. The right answer is Michael Halliday. Question number 11. The following is not true about Amitav Ghosh. First thing, Amitav Ghosh is one of the most important, prominent writer known for abystrology and in an antique land. But here, this time they went for the questions from the books which are mostly not studied by it. But as a teacher, I told my students, be prepared with Amitav Ghosh. Why? Because he has been nominated for Booker Award for more than 7 to 8 times. So there are chances that he will actually win a Booker Award. The first thing, he says not true. Jungle Nama is a novel in verse. Yes. The British East India Company unleashed cruelties on the inhabitants of the Banda Island. Yes. 1621 का मैसेकर हुआ था. सही कहानी है. It means ये दोनों सही है. The events of the novel Gun Island are set in Sundarban, West Bengal and in Venice. This point I checked because I also never read Gun Island, though I will do it now. Yes, that fact is also correct. So when I was answering this question on my own, I have a habit. I always go for my own option, my own answer, then I correct it, then I check it. So my answer actually went for this, and then I checked it, I found that only 4th option is the right answer. Why? The Ghosh's Ibistrology, the ship Ibis is destined for South Africa, and this was the difference. No, it was going to Mauritius. So I knew this thing, I ticked it, and my guess, मेरा तुक्का सही लगा. कहते हैं अगर आपने ठीक से पढ़ा है तो आपका तुक्का भी सही लगता है. If you have studied really well, आपका तुक्का सही लगेगा. Answer 4 is correct. The short story, The Yellow Wallpaper. My offline batch must be smiling. We talked about top 10 short stories where we went for Charles Perkins Gilman. Charles Perkins Gilman. This is the story, The Yellow Wallpaper. It deals with the nervous troubles are dreadful, depressing. See, that is the another story. Charles Dickens, Tale of Two Cities. This one is for Anna Karenina. This one is for Pride and Prejudice. So even if you go for the right options, you know these 3 lines are from other books. This one is from The Yellow Wallpaper. Top 10 short stories का lecture दिया हुआ है मैंने. Read it, prepare those things because they may ask you the Rose for Emily, The Grief, or they can also ask you B24, Baker Street. Make sure you remember that. Example of dystopia. War and Peace? No. Grapes of Wrath? Somewhere yes. Utopia? No, totally opposite hai. 1984. Yes, my dear friend. Remember my lecture by George Orwell. George Orwell 1984, where multinational company has taken control. Big brother is watching you. That's the concept. They are not allowed to fall in love, and the book was surprisingly banned. The top book of dystopian novels, 1984. Direct answer है. If you don't know these things, it means you are not getting proper guidance. अगर आपको ये सब क्वेश्चन नहीं आते हैं तो आप इसका मतलब आप दोस्तों ठीक से नहीं पढ़ रहे हो. A word or sentence that remains the same if read backward. I know the direct answer. Palindrome is the direct answer. Still, acronym, short name. Vineet Pandey, VP. Acronym. Homonym. One word, 2 different meanings. Bank. Bank is bank. पैसे वाला. Bank. River bank. Portmanteau is a postmodern technique. You are simply left with this one. Though there is a direct answer, palindrome means when you write from left or right, it is same. Then we go for this one. The following is not true about the novel Robinson Crusoe. Not true. So when I was going for all these things, this is true. Coetzee novel 4 is based on it. It is based on the life of Alexander Selkirk. Remember, I told you it is based on the life of Alexander Selkirk. Crusoe finds a man, a company, and names him. It was a question of net exam that what does he name? I made you write he names him Friday to show his faith for God, to show his love to God. He names him Friday, not Monday. This is not true. This is the answer. New Atlantis. Remember my lecture of Francis Bacon, 1627. New Atlantis, where the island of King Solomon has been compared to Eden Garden, that I have taught in details. New Atlantis is a utopian novel by Francis Bacon. Free ka question hai ye. Remember the lecture Sprung Rhythm and Stress and Skip. Sprung Rhythm is connected to GM Hopkins. Free का question है. Again a free question for you all. दोस्तों आपने देखा इतने सारे क्वेश्चन जो हैं ऑलमोस्ट क्लास के हैं. अब ये देखते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 18 पे आ गए हैं. सो क्वेश्चन नंबर 18, द राइटर हु रोट स्टोरीज इंस्पायर्ड बाय बुद्धिस्ट जातका. जी हाँ दोस्तों, आई विल नॉट टेक एनी क्रेडिट फॉर दिस थिंग. आई डिड नॉट टीच दिस. ये हमने नहीं पढ़ाया. द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस इज वी टीच मंटो, वी टीच अमृता प्रीतम, but normally Nair Masood, Intizar Hussains are not taught in our syllabus till now. But as you know that we learn from our mistakes so that our students don't have to pay the price. हमारी गलती से आपको प्राइस पे ना करना पड़े, इसलिए अब नेक्स्ट क्लासेस में I will be teaching Nair Masood and Intizar Hussain. Now the answer is Intizar Hussain. When I was preparing this paper for you, I checked him. I found he has written on partition. He has written on the issues of riots along with quest for identity. So question number 18, the direct answer is Intizar Hussain. He has used Buddhist Jatakas. For more detail, what is Buddhist Jataka? What are the works by Nair Masood? What are the works of Saadat Hasan Manto? Be the part of the upcoming classes, because whatever they have asked in exam, that becomes our syllabus for next students so that they can become the topper. Let's go for this thing. Salman Rushdie's essay, Outside the Veil. It's an easy question. Why it's easy question? This is simply a response to Inside the Veil. Inside the Veil was a kind of satire written by George Orwell. When George Orwell talked about the problems of a particular society under a culture, Salman Rushdie, he wanted to broaden the ideas of George Orwell, so he came with the idea outside the veil. So direct answer hai, easy answer hai, right answer is George Orwell, and we teach this thing. George Orwell has criticized other writers. He has criticized Tolstoy. Tolstoy used to hate Shakespeare. George Orwell wrote Tolstoy, Lear and Other Fools. So this is how he was a man who would criticize, who would satirize the problems of people. Then question number 20, a repeated question of net exam. A term used by Derrida to refer to the irresolvable internal contradiction or logical disjunction. Let's read the question again. A term used by Derrida, okay. What does it refers? It refers irresolvable internal contradiction. Internal contradiction, confusion, the state of confusion. If you remember my lectures of deconstruction, if you have attended the classes or have taken online classes, the right answer is aporia. Aporia is moment of undecidability. A question of net exam. Aporia was also asked in GATE exam. Simple question, a moment of confusion, a moment of contradiction. See, eraser is something putting in the brackets, a particular meaning that has been put in the bracket and ignored or used. Supplement is the second meaning. The direct meaning is not available, go for second meaning. Amnesia is something the result after. Then what is left directly for you is aporia. So first thing, if you remember my lecture, then aporia is direct answer for you. If you don't remember the lecture, then at least you should know I have taught you eraser, amnesia and supplement. Aporia is the perfect answer for this, and a repeated question. Note it down. Deconstruction theory ka question hai ye. British history, conquest of Grenada, simple answer written by John Dryden. When I teach this thing, I don't teach this work in detail. I make my students only write the title. I have told you, sirf title पूछेंगे, title से ज़्यादा नहीं पूछेंगे. I repeatedly tell you that this is only for title purpose, no need to go in the depth. So when I say no need to go in the depth, this is the reason. Conquest of Grenada is the title written by John Dryden. The poem not written by T.S. Eliot. My dear friends, if you remember my lectures of Robert Browning, not of T.S. Eliot. If you remember my lectures of Robert Browning, fail I alone in the words and deeds, all men strive, but who succeed? If you remember my lines, the last ride together is written by Robert Browning. Remember, the lover wants his beloved to go for one last riding. This is the direct answer. So this is not written by T.S. Eliot. Hollow men, we have taught, I have made you write the lines. We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men. This is how the world ends, not with a bang but with a whimper. Sweeney Agonist, I made you write that. This was the work I did not make you write. For next classes, we will add this in our syllabus. यहाँ पे हर उस ऑप्शन, हर उस क्वेश्चन में जो आया है और किसी को नहीं आता है, that will be added for your next class. आपको ये सब डिटेल में मिलेगा. Now, next question we go for. Frederick Jameson described the third world writing. Frederick Jameson was a man who represents postmodern thoughts, also the person who deals with the idea of late capitalism. You must be remembering these things we already have taught. He talks about the allegorical understanding of the third world, which was actually criticized. Even Salman Rushdie and others did not like this, but he actually referred the third world as the national allegory. Point to be noted. For details, be with us. I'll give you a detailed lecture on this thing. I'll make you understand. This is high level. These are the JNU, DU and Jamia level. If you're a small town student and you want to have this kind of knowledge, be with us, join us, be the team member with us, and you'll be getting the detailed answers. Now let's go for this one. Very easy. Even if you have watched my free lectures of new criticism, if you don't believe that, watch my lectures on YouTube, new criticism. You will find out intentional fallacy, affective fallacy coined by Wimsatt and Beardsley. Direct answer, a clear answer. In the line, the western wave was all aflame. The day was well nigh done. Collins is using a particular device. So let's see which one. Metonymy, synecdoche, they are almost same. Metaphor, western wave, no, he's not putting any metaphor. Ellipsis, ellipsis is when some words which are not required are used over repeatedly. The western wave, all aflame, no. Synecdoche, synecdoche and metonymy are closely associated with one thing, stands for everyone, like pen. Pen means knowledge. Uniform means police or army. Here, the western wave, wave is a wave of the ocean, just one wave. But then using the word the western wave was all aflame. It is actually representing the western mindset. So western flame, western wave, all aflame is representing the complete mindset of the West. Just like when there was elections going on and everybody was saying it's a Modi wave. So that was not only one person, it was the complete BJP and others. In short, the direct answer is synecdoche. What is the difference between synecdoche and metonymy? They are closely associated. You answer me in this comment. Let's see how many of you know the difference between these two. The right answer is synecdoche. What is an apostrophe? See, apostrophe means addressing someone. But who? Let's go for options. A direct address, yes. To the enemy, दुश्मन को address करना, can be, yes, हो सकता है. It can be an answer. A direct address to audience, can be. A direct address to an absent person. This is the final definition. That's why you have to read things and understand. A direct address to an absent person. The person should not be in front of you. Absent person or inanimate entity. That is apostrophe. A person is not in front of you. Then contact zone theory. You can watch my theory lectures. There are certain videos with these thumbnails. One of my favorite theory. All my online and offline students remember my example, the auto wala talking to the Angrez. Angrez speaking simple English. Auto wala trying to speak English. And they are forming a contact zone. We are surrounded by the contact zones in the world. The right answer is Maria Lewis Pratt. Are you thinking that, sir, he is explaining these answers in an easy way and we are not even knowing these things? When I started net preparation, I used to get shocked that how these people are solving this thing like cakewalk. My dear friends, what we study in small town university and what they ask in net are two different things. This is the reason you will see a lot of people, those who are right now working in the field, are themselves have no JRF. They are struggling to get it. You know why? Because even if you're good in paper 1, English, it needs to be answered in a proper way. All the questions, maximum questions. The biggest mistake the students do is that they are only prepared with British history. They don't study the other parts of literature. These questions are from the other part of literature. The right answer is Mary Louise Pratt. Technically, it's Maria Louise Pratt. I don't know why they have written Mary, it's Maria. All of the following are known for their translation of Faiz Ahmed Faiz. Pick the one who did not do the translation. Now, this question is quite unknown to me. You must be thinking ना कि सब कुछ आता है क्या सर को? सब कुछ नहीं आता, या मुझे नहीं आता है. It's not known to me, and I didn't try to find the answer because it would take a lot of time. So I thought that why should I spend a lot of time for this thing? You spend time, you answer it, because you all you have to do is go for Google, Faiz Ahmed Faiz. He has written a beautiful work that I love. हम देखेंगे. आपको सिर्फ इतना करना है, you have to go for all these translations one by one. You will find the right answer. I am not giving you any answer. Why? Because right now I have no answer for this. Did I search it? No. Can I search it? Yes. So when I search it, I will be teaching you these 4 people as translator. That's my task. So you answer me this thing. Question number 21. One has to convey in a language. I can answer this from here only. One has to convey in a language that is not one's own, the spirit that is one's own. It's Rajarao Kanthapura. If you read it, you will find out that Kanthapura deals with Rajarao's narration talking about Indian English. If you remember my lectures, I told you that whenever you want to understand English in India, just read Rajarao's Kanthapura and preface. This is from preface to Kanthapura. One has to convey in a language that is not one's own. You are speaking in English which is not your own language. The spirit that is one's own. So your spirit is your own, but your language is not your own. That is a beautiful line. ये बहुत ही बढ़िया लाइन है राजाराव कंथापुरा से. डायरेक्ट आंसर है. वन ऑफ माई फेवरेट, माई स्टूडेंट, ही वॉज टेलिंग मी, सर आपको याद है आपने स्टेज पे एक्टिंग करके बताई थी. कोमल फ्रॉम कश्मीर, शी टोल्ड मी, सर आपको याद है आपने एक्टिंग करके बताया था. सो असाइड इज अ ड्रामेटिक डिवाइस. It has a difference than soliloquy. Soliloquy, a person speaks to himself. Dramatic monologue, a person is alone, speaking aloud in the presence of people who are not troubling him. Aside is a dramatic device mostly used by Iago in Othello. Aside is when you are on a stage, you say something, but that should not be heard by the characters on the stage. It is heard by the audience. So let's see, go for the options. Character speaks to the audience unheard by the other characters. Yes, but it is not a direct address to the audience. Audience listen to it like a game. So they laugh. A character speaks to himself unheard by the other characters. Yes, somewhere it's correct. Somewhere it's A and B both are correct. A character speaks to the another character in the corner of a stage unheard by the other characters. Again wrong, because it does not speak to another character. It is synonymous with monologue. Now, C is completely wrong. Remember my method of paper solving? Go for the wrongest answer. C is completely wrong. Now we have 1, 2 and 3. A character speaks to the audience unheard by other characters. Somewhere it's fine. Character speaks to himself unheard by the other characters. Now he speaks to himself unheard by other characters, but then they did not mention that the audience are there, because aside is for the audience. Right answer is A only. A is the right answer. A character speaks to the audience unheard by other characters. So when Othello and others are talking, Iago goes to the side and the audience is there and he says, oh, okay, I will see you, I will see you, I will see you. Audience can hear that. That is aside. Match the items. Why they're calling it items? They should call it books. Okay. Match the items in column with those column B. Okay, करते हैं. Reader response. So 10 to 15 days back, check my live class, reader response. I was teaching and I talked about Stanley Fish. Is there a text in the class? His famous work. Stanley Fish is connected to reader response. Then we have gender studies. Judith Butler, if you remember my lecture of queer theory, Judith Butler is mother of gender studies, mother of queer theories. Then we have Stephen Greenblatt, who has written a famous work, Shakespearean Negotiation. Watch my lectures, check my lecture of New Historicism. जो online students हैं lecture check करो. Stephen Greenblatt, New Historicism. He has written Shakespeare and Negotiation. Three of these things are matched. Now, Umberto Eco, the one who talked about the open work, the one who believed that the meaning can be found in an open way. Meaning can be anything. Semiotics, Umberto Eco. Direct answer. Though their answer is not clearly mentioned, they have not given the answer. But what I have told is 100% perfect answer. What's your homework? Your homework is check these people if you don't know. If you are not in my class and nobody is teaching you that, check these things. The basic question, that was not a tough question. The Spectator was edited by, do we know that? I have taught you. I told you they asked questions. Remember offline batch? In my warm-up session, I would ask you, tell me the characters, the names and everything related to it. So Tatler, 1709 to 1711. Spectator, 60,000 copies sold. Guinness Book record. All my online students, they know it. Who edited Spectator? Steele and John Locke? No, John Locke was not there. Edison was there, but Dryden was not there. Edison and Blackmore? No. But then the best friends, Edison and Steele, they are there. So right pair is Edison and Steele. If you know Spectator, read Spectator Club. A Senecan tragedy is not known for. First of all, what is Senecan tragedy? A tragedy of bloodshed, a tragedy of cruelty, revenge, murder, ghost, ये सब होता है. Not known for. Not. Revenge, yes, it's known for revenge. Badla. Remember badla lega? I teach you in this. I gave the examples like बाप का, दादा का, सबका बदला लेगा तेरा फैजल. So revenge is there. अब revenge है तो murder तो होगा ही होगा ना. The murder is going to be the part of the revenge. Then there are ghosts. Ghosts are taking revenge. Hamlet is a revenge tragedy. Ghost of father, Benko, everyone. Not Benko, sorry. Ghost of father. Comic relief is not known for. There is no comedy. Thomas Kidd, Senecan tragedy writer, did not write any comic reference. Direct answer. Question number 34 is match the items column. Okay, match karna hai. So my dear friends, remember this thing, when you find these kind of questions, go for the writers first. Sometimes when you don't know the books, don't know the terms, it's the writer who will help you to go for an answer. Go for the writers. Bakhtin is known to me personally. I have studied him really well. Bakhtin, Habermas, philosopher hai, public sphere ke liye jana jata hai, I have studied him. Giles Deleuze, postmodern, I have studied him. Guattari, I did not study that much, but I know him. Annibale Quijano is totally unknown to me. मैंने भी नहीं पढ़ा है इसको. Now, let's go for matching. Mikhail Bakhtin, option is carnivalesque. Carnival theory is by Bakhtin. I have taught in the class. My students know that the term has been coined by him. We have solved one more question of carnivalesque. One option we have it. Then I told you Habermas. Habermas is known for public sphere. This one is public sphere. Public sphere is the gathering. He says how the society gets formed. The gathering of the private people sharing their private understandings, which becomes a social understanding. So we all are the part of each other's private life somewhere. That becomes a public sphere. Now that's their Habermas for public sphere, Mikhail Bakhtin for carnivalesque. Now Annibale Quijano, he talks about Eurocentrism and subalterns. This I studied for you, I checked for you so that I can teach you. He deals with colonial power and Deleuze deals with raison. That's quite simple, quite easy. For more details and detailed lectures on these things, be the part of the class. You will never struggle to find out these things. Then, question number 35. There are no cuts in the video, you can check that. The first attempt at writing a monolingual dictionary. What is monolingual? English to English. So technically the free question, easy question. Online students, remember, check your notes for Samuel Johnson. Offline students ko to tips par hoga. Samuel Johnson, 1755, English dictionary. Yesterday I asked a question in my rapid fire. Who gave him money to write the dictionary? Who was his patron? William Stanhope. And then when he wrote this dictionary, he said it's great in its bulk. So these are the questions related to it. Direct answer hai, easy answer hai. What is a feminine rhyme? Normally we don't teach these things, but this is simple. The two stressed syllables followed by one unstressed. ये C option है. यहाँ पे all you have to do is just mug up. Find out I rhyme, find out masculine rhyme, find out broken rhyme. 4-5 चीजें जो मैंने बताई हैं. Whatever I'm telling you, work on these things. They can ask you this in exam. A work that is not Dalit autobiography. Oh my God. But we teach it. Dalit literature we have taught. So jisko nahi aata hai, focus, because I know where did you make mistake. You must have gone for some story, but that's easy. Don't go for the outcast. That's autobiography. Prisons we broke, Baby Kamble, autobiography. Viramma, autobiography. Why Untouchable? Untouchable is written by Mulk Raj Anand and is not an autobiography. It's a story. Lakha, Bakha, Sohni. Remember the characters? Direct answer is not an autobiography. Untouchable is not an autobiography. Simple answer for you. Then G.N. Davies after amnesia underlines. So technically, I know this man, but we also stopped reading him. So I never had any revision in last 4 to 5 years. So I checked it for you for the right answer. The right answer is native critical theory. ये बात करते हैं कि हमारा अपना criticism हो, हमारी अपनी understanding हो. Indian literature should be studied with Indian mindset, Indian criticism. It should not have the foreign criticism. Now my job is to provide a proper lecture on this particular thing to my students, because when they go to the exam, they are supposed to be the best. So I'll be providing a proper lecture on this particular thing. Then we go for this one. The line, lay like the folds of bright girdle fold, may be cited as an example. We have options. Chiasm. Chiasm is when the order of the words are misarranged, disordered. Epiphany is a term coined by James Joyce for a sudden strike. Both of these things are not there. Cacophony is a bad voice, troubling voice, irritating voice. Euphony is musical voice, the sound L. How to identify euphony? La 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 la. These kind of words. Lay like the folds of a bright girdle fold. It's musical, it's euphony. Then we go for the author of S. Jed. Simple hai, Roland Barthes ne likha hai. If you know Roland Barthes, if you remember my lecture of Roland Barthes, S. Jed and Saracen are the stories which are very important one. S. Jed is ka sabse important work hai, along with Death of the Author. Then this is who argues in the book Death of Discipline 2003, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. She is the one who talks about this Eurocentrism, that we must avoid Eurocentrism. हमें ये Eurocentrism से avoid करना चाहिए. It's the answer, direct answer. You should know this book. Now, the following is not the title of collection of poems by Nassim Ezekiel. इनमें से कौन सा collection Nassim Ezekiel का नहीं है? So when I went for this thing, I found that B, C and D, they are all well known to me. So I just checked it and I went for my, see, I attempted this test paper without any help. So I went for my guess, Jones of Assault. Yes, it's a work written by someone. यहाँ पे मैं ऐड करूँगा, ठीक है? क्या नंबर था इसका? 42 ना? Yes से बोलो, yes, it's a work. Yes, it's a work written by Ranjit Hoskote. A minor work, but we will provide you details. Check this thing, make your notes and also remember their timings. Then we go for question number 42. The part of postmodernism. Host by Peter James's electronic novel. Have you ever heard about this thing? We talked about cyborg theory in my class. There I mentioned the word electronic novels. Host by Peter James is India's and world's first electronic novel. Now what is this? If you're not getting this kind of knowledge, are you actually preparing for NET and JRF? This is Jamia PhD entrance exam. We will provide you the details. Trust me, I will give you the all details related to it. The first electronic novel of the world, Host by Peter James. The Furies appear in, the Greek reference Furies appear in Family Reunion. There is a beautiful line. I must protect Mr. Wishwood. He must live. He lives, the family lives. Family Reunion. It's a beautiful work. Then the term euphemism. Very easy question. Why? Euphemism takes the name from Euphues, the Anatomy of Wit. Who has written? Anatomy of Wit. Then Euphues and his England. These are the works that I made you write when I taught University Wits and John Lilly. Check your notes. John Lilly is the direct answer. I have also taught you that the term euphuism is not coined by John Lilly. The term euphuse comes from Roser Escham. You have that knowledge, nobody will have it. So check your notes, it's the correct answer. Rhapsode is a Grecian style. So let's go for the answer. What does it mean? A classical Greek performer of epic poetry, Irish, archaic, ornamental. Option A is curve. perfect answer. Greek epical style को बोलते हैं rhapsody. Then we have the book The Translator's Task is a famous essay by. It is by Walter Benjamin. I also didn't know that. 3-4 क्वेश्चन मुझे भी नहीं आते इनमें से, मैंने चेक किया. It is the right answer, Walter Benjamin. Details will be provided to you with this particular man, Harish Trivedi. Read this man. 90% people don't study this. He's very important. Go for it. A statement attributed to Judith Butler. Personal is political. It's a feminist quote. Then, religion is the opium of the masses. That's by Karl Marx. One is not born a woman but becomes. Simone de Beauvoir. Identity is performatively constituted. The gender concept. This is the line by Judith Butler. This is the right answer. Easy question. Once again, they have asked the story. Journey Without Maps, written by Graham Greene. 32 plus famous works में से एक work उठा के पूछा है. They have asked one simple work out of his 32 works. Graham Greene is the right answer. The feminist theory associated with the term cyborg. Before we finished our offline batch, the last lecture that I took was on cyborg literature. Donna Haraway has written the Cyborg Manifesto. The direct answer here we have is Donna Haraway. This was your paper. So my dear friends, there are two things before I end this thing. First, subscribe the channel because the solution of GATE paper, previous year set papers, last net papers, all are available in online classes, all are available for offline students. We may not post all the videos here, but it's all for you. Now, check your preparation if you're not the part of my class. Are you being given these things? Are you being taught these things? If not, then be ready because you're going to compete the best minds. And here, I make sure that just like me, you get a JRF, a double JRF. Along with this thing, I invite you to come with your questions. You can ask me your questions. You can also text me. You can also write in comments that on what topic you want a next video. I will provide you all those things. Thank you so much. Friends, after finishing this video, I was just checking the paper once again for my curiosity. 37 questions as it is from class out of 50. If I just add some signs and some guidance, then 41 questions are from class. Like sometimes I say, read that, this can be asked, okay, you read that. So that's how 41 questions, but let's go for facts. Out of 50, 37 questions from class. You know why I'm telling you? I want to tell you, have faith. We are working with my team for your success. Your JRF is my success. Stay with us and more paper solutions are coming for you. Thank you so much.